Hi, this is Ed Carey, and this is my answer to the final evaluation question. What have you learned from your audience feedback? For this question, I'm going to answer it simply by doing a vlog instead of going on iMovie and creating like a voiceover or going on Word and creating a document. I feel that to sum it all up, I think a vlog would work really well. So this is it. Anyway, so audience feedback. Audience feedback is it's basically responses and reactions of the target audience, isn't it? Really, that's basically what it is. It allows identification on whether a certain piece of media would attract the audience that it intended to, and how successful it really was. And audience feedback is very heavily based around that idea that if audience feedback is negative, then usually the piece of media is not very successful. So it's very very important. Basically, we understood that it was important, and we wanted to sort of kind of take it a little bit further instead of just sending out a questionnaire and do a focus group as well as a questionnaire. So we sent out a questionnaire to 30 people, and we also did a focus group of about 8 or 9, I think, 8 or 9 individuals, all within the target audience. We did this because we knew that we had to do primary research, and we know that by using the questionnaire we are able to get some sort of quantifiable information. This sort of quantifiable information we can numerically sort of analyze, and sort of that is one way of finding out information. And then we also use a focus group which would give us a more detailed personal outlook on the questions that would ask, and it would allow the audience to sort of give back more, because it's a lot easier to talk about it than it is just to write it down on a piece of paper usually. This is why we did that. That's why we did that basically. So I'll go on about the questionnaire first and what we learned from the questionnaire. So the questionnaire, we based our questionnaire on Google Surveys, I think it was. Yeah, Google Surveys. Google Surveys is sort of something you can create a questionnaire or survey and send it out across Gmail to anyone you want, really. So we sent out to 30 people, all within our target audience. And we asked them a couple of questions. So obviously we did the sort of generic questions such as please state your gender and your age, just to make sure that these people actually are part of the target audience. And then we went on to some sort of questions that they were able to answer just by clicking or filling out a box. Sort of the 1 to 10, or the really well, not well at all. And we based our questions around this. Most of the questions. So we asked a question something like, having watched the video on a scale of 1 to 10, how engaging did you find the content? And then they had put out 1 to 10, or something like, how well did you understand the narrative of the music video? And the boxes were really well, not well at all, not even slightly well. So it's like we were basing these questions around because we knew that we could then bring back all this information and almost create an Excel format sheet which allows us to sort of see the information as it is and really quantify it. We asked these questions as well because we know that we asked the sort of things that me and George ourselves weren't 100% sure on it working. So things like, how did you feel the pace of the editing, and did you feel that was appropriate? We asked this question because when we were editing the video and we looked back on it, we almost thought maybe it's a bit quick at places, so we asked if it worked to ask our target audience, see what they thought, or how did he feel the style of the music video was, and did it work well with the genre of the music, because that was also something else that we can't really get these answers by using secondary information, so we just had to use this primary information. The way that we managed to get this all back together and what we actually learned from it is that we, again, as I said, we got our responses sort of Excel sheet, and we were able to really quantify the information. And when we did this, we were absolutely shocked, in all honesty, because there was a lot of positive responses. In fact, pretty much every single response was a very, very positive response, So having watched the music video, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you find the content engaging? This was, obviously, I said this already, this was our first question we went in, and we didn't get a lower than 8 out of 10. 8, 9, and 10. That's what we got for that. So we know that that is a successful area. We knew that our content was engaging to our target audience. Everyone said that the narrative worked well. Everyone said that the editing pace worked. Everyone said that the style of the music video went with the genre, apart from one person, but that person actually wasn't part of our target audience because they were only 14 years old. So, that's also a way of showing that we can find anomalies within our information. Even the things along the line, even the questions about improvements of music video, the vast majority of people said no, and the only people that said the only responses saying yes was maybe that there was one person that said that they were not sure what was going on, which I'll talk about later with our focus group. But basically, the information that we got back was extremely, extremely positive. And what we learned from this is that we learned that it was a successful piece of media. There wasn't that much about how we could improve it or constructive criticism in a way, because there wasn't really that sort of area of maneuverability within the actual questionnaire. We just wanted to see whether people enjoyed it or whether they didn't enjoy it. We didn't really need to know about the criticisms and how they thought they could make it better and stuff, just because we know we'd get that really detailed information in the focus group. Which leads me on, actually, to the focus group. But by watching the focus group back, it was obvious that after we showed the video, people were impressed, because no one could really come up with some criticism instantly. There was no one had it rolling off the top of their tongue. People really had to think about what they weren't really sure about, or didn't really, So that was a really, really nice start to it. A few people wondered about a deep meaning behind the shootings, and some asked questions about the narrative, and that leads me back to the one person that said that maybe that the narrative actually, they didn't really understand it. And this was important for us, because these questions, maybe if you apply them in a way, it shows that our audience aren't not enjoying it. They're just some people just aren't quite understanding it. And so maybe me and George, we learned that maybe we could make it slightly more simple. If we were to do it again, for example, maybe make the deeper meaning behind the shootings more obvious and less subtle. But everyone liked the poster in Digipack, even though one individual said the poster was a slightly lower quality, which again was actually slightly backed up on our questionnaire about the person saying that the poster was maybe not as good as the Digipack. And this is sort of bittersweet, because it's saying that the Digipack is extremely, extremely good, but the poster is good, but not up with the standard of the Digipack. So we could almost maybe want to go back and maybe rethink the poster a little bit. But this was just one individual's thoughts. So one individual, you have to put it into perspective in a way. Everyone agreed that they'd be actually drawn to the actual product if it was a professional product, and everyone agreed that it was at a professional standard, which was a really nice sort of thing, because when we asked that question, when George asked that question on the actual focus group, do you think this looks like a professional piece of work? Everyone just said, oh yeah, definitely. And that was a really positive thought for us, to think that we've created something that to the untrained eye looks like a professional product. Overall, within the focus group and the actual questionnaire, our audience feedback, I would say that me and George learned mostly that this slightly ambitious idea, the style that we did in the slightly ambitious sort of film noir lighting, and the sort of fast-paced editing, which we were slightly on edge about overall, was a real success. The overall music video and the product was a great success, and that our audience actually liked it. We also learned that you can't please everyone. That maybe the poster wasn't actually of the highest quality that it could have been. No one really said why. Everyone just kind of, may think certain individuals are drawn to different types of media and different, parts of Digipack and whatever. But overall, I think that it was just nice to go about this audience feedback and see mostly, pretty much 95% of everything that was fed back was positive feedback. There was very little constructive criticism, even from the people, the students that are doing A2 media as well, have a real understanding of it. There was little constructive criticism, so it was basically a real success. and I'm happy to end it on that, I think. Awesome.